Points in the second half, the fewest in the NFL this season. The last time a team was held to a total of 3 or fewer points in the second half of the first 3 games of a season was in 2009 with the Rams, who went on to finish 1-15 that season. So here's the question: who wins? Skip, do you want to take it, or do you want to give it to Stephen A? Stephen A, who wins?
You know, Skip Bayless, I'm tempted to pick the Eagles because I simply believe that the Eagles are a better team this year. But considering the level of desperation associated with the San Francisco 49ers, how they're up against it right now, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to win this football game. I think Kaepernick, who's completing about 70% of his passes, although he hasn't been knocking your socks off, just 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season, he's had to scramble 26 times this year and run the football because obviously the protection that he's accustomed to getting hasn't necessarily been there, at least with the degree of consistency that he would like. Frank Gore's only got about 35 rushes over the first 3 games. You would think he would need to run the football more. But I look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Skip, do you know that they haven't had a sack since game 1? They recorded 3 sacks in their season opener against Jacksonville, and from that moment forward, they haven't had a sack since, although they've had 15 hurries. They're not putting immense pressure on the quarterback. Now, the Eagles pride themselves. They're saying that those statistics are a misnomer. Pay no attention to it, because really it's not about the sacks that you get. It's about whether or not you have the ability to force a quarterback out of his comfort zone, out of the pocket and what have you, because that's what they focus on. The problem with that is that's exactly what you shouldn't want to do with Colin Kaepernick. You should want to keep him insulated. You shouldn't want him to be evasive and scramble out of the pocket and be on the run, because to me that's where he's most lethal as far as I'm concerned. And I think that with the 49ers having their backs up against the wall, I think their defense, albeit not stout compared to what we're accustomed to seeing, I think they're going to make some noise on their home turf this week, even though I don't consider their home turf much of home turf. I think Colin Kaepernick and those boys will understand that their backs are against the wall and they've got to step up. And as a result, I think they'll find a way to pull out this game, something along the lines of 30-27. That's what I believe.
I sure hope you're right about that. I fear you are wrong about your prediction. And I fear it because, you know me, I picked Dallas to win the East, so I need Philly. I want Philly to lose this game at San Francisco. In fact, before the year, I circled this game and said, that's one that the Eagles will lose. And then all of a sudden, we have Jekyll Hyde versus Hyde Jekyll. And I can't figure out either team quite yet. I'm trying to make a case for Philly to win this game because I just watched Philly's defense give up 511 yards to Kirk Cousins and company on their home field in Philadelphia. That means that the Eagles' defense has now given up the 24th most yards in the NFL and the 24th most points in the NFL. Not very good. So I look at the point spread, and it opened at San Francisco -6 points at home. And I thought that was so high, and so did the public. And everybody jumped on it because everybody thinks Philly, 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 and bet it all the way down to 4.5, which is a pretty significant drop in that number. And finally, this morning, Stephen A., I'm thinking about it, and it just, the light went on in my head, and I thought, you know what? Something is wrong with the 49ers. Something is really wrong with the 49ers at home in their new digs, Levi. These Levi's don't seem to fit them very well. I don't know why. What's that?
I said it's not a home crowd.
It's not a home. Well,
as far as I'm concerned at all. But I got to admit, these one-liners that you've come up with today are fantastic. You are on a roll, Skip Bayless. The Levi's don't fit them. You know, I mean, it's beautiful, Skip. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Keep it coming. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
I'm going to keep it coming with a prediction that I so hope I'm wrong about. I think the Eagles are going to win this game because I think the Eagles will win the second half like they always do. I'm afraid of it. I'm going to go Eagles, and I wrote down my score, and it's almost your score except flipped. I got Eagles winning 30-28, and you got 30-27 home team, right?
Yeah, I do. And listen, you know, Shoot, I'm certainly not on a roll as of late with some of these daggone games I've been picking. I ain't gonna deny that. But you're trying to hold on to it for the first part of the season before you really get into it. You want to see a body of work, but until you see that body of work, you're basically going on. All right, the 49ers can't be this bad.
Well,
they can't be this inept. They
know,
can't be this lost.
But they
I
have
can't
been.
believe that this season is pretty much going to be. I know that. But I can't believe that this season's going to be over by week 4 like the Redskins. Like, for example, do we have any doubt that the Redskins are finished? They got Seattle and Arizona coming up next. I mean, their season is over as far as I'm concerned. But when I look at San Francisco, I'm trying to hold on to it and saying, all right, you're on your home turf. You lost 2 straight. You got to step up and produce. You lose this game, you 1-3. You're in a world of trouble if you're the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm just trying to hold on to this belief that these dudes, even without Aldon Smith, even without him and Bowman, I gotta believe that they're better than this.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but you tell me, which quarterback do you trust more, Nick Foles or Colin Kaepernick, as we stand today, from what you've seen so far?
As we stand today, it's Nick Foles.
Yeah.
As we stand today, absolutely. But it's not. But it's not fair to Kaepernick from this perspective. The Crabtrees of the world, Stevie Johnson. Look, this guy's no scrub. He's a guy that had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons in Buffalo before he nosedived a little bit last year, and then now he's in San Francisco. So you got a Stevie Johnson, you've got an Anquan Bolden, you've got a Vernon Davis. There's simply no excuse for these guys to not step up and answer the bell. They've been around long enough. They're tried, true, and tested. There's no reason for the San Francisco 49ers to have looked as bad as they've looked over the last